Welcome back to season 2, episode 3 of Fantasy PD. Joined once again by my lovely co-hosts, Nick Clement and Dan Miller. As we get into things today, we are excited. Week 1 wrapped up, and we are looking forward to week 2. But to kick us off today, not the Gallon Challenge, which, Milk, we are very much looking forward to you doing that, even though you're not listening to this, so we will remind you. The only thing that Milk responded to in the group chat this week was when Dan got memed, and Milk responded, "Nice boobs." So, Nick, or some might call you Robert Frost, take it away.
Oh, yes. Luke is a confirmed boob boy, so I wasn't surprised by that. I unfortunately bet with Mr. Berg that the loser had to do a nice limerick to camaraderie, not only how bad my team is, but also how good his team is. So I would like the mic for half a second. Please enjoy this. Everyone, please listen up. It's my turn to do the talking. I have a few rhymes from the supposed fantasy Stephen Hawking. Berg is way better than me at fantasy football. My team sucks so bad, I wouldn't have even beat Old Shaw. I picked 3 bad receivers, and Berg started to laugh. I said Antonio Gibson was a bad player to draft. Gibson took advantage of his chance with Brian Robinson's shot. Catch more than 2 footballs? Allen Robinson could not. Keenan and Dak didn't even make it to the end of their game. My fantasy team is embarrassing. I have no one else to blame. Berg's receivers and tight ends played like they were on a heater. Damn, I really wish I had just played Peter. Harlan's Hogs showed that they are the real package. And no, we are not talking about his pecker and ball sackage. I checked the scores, and it is now final. I lost to the guy who lost to Soul Cycle.
That was amazing.
Thank you. It was a combined effort. Berg gave me a couple zingers, and it was fun to make, actually.
That was so good.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Appreciate you doing that. Look forward to good other good challenges throughout the year. And Dan, also known as the WP, now in the group chat. So
it has a ring to it.
It does, and we're happy to have you back. I don't know why you're listening to this, but do remember to hit the like button. We are all 0-1, combined 0-3 on this podcast. So if you are listening to it, just don't take any of our word and implement it into your team. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Unless, Dan, you've got any opening remarks.
Nope.
Chris really doesn't like our podcast that he went the exact opposite way and went all in on Curtis Samuel. So can't wait to dive into that.
Yeah, this podcast was going to be sponsored by Chris, but he spent all his money on Curtis. So he had to back out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and share here.
Oh.
All right. Well, Dan might have taken an L on the field last week. And let me mute my work computer because I keep getting pinged. He did not take many L's when he was actually doing the pick'em. So Dan, can you just walk us through your thought process as you dissected teams and you made your picks?
Well, everyone wants me to kind of keep it short. So just let me put it this way. If I'm picking you this week, look forward to a big old dub.
All right.
Except yourself.
Except myself.
Mine's not fantasy related, but I think it's funny that you're getting work messages right now because everyone's freaking out because they see you online, so they're trying to get a hold of you very quickly. Yeah, it was a tough week for you and me, Pete, picking matchups, unfortunately.
Not great. And I think it should. I totally forgot what I was about to say. We're just going to transition along here. So we are going to go to our power rankings for this last week. I remember what I was saying.
Ooh. Yeah, my other comments about how these matchups finished, because it takes literally no skill to play fantasy football, apparently, because if you had the higher draft pick this year, outside of Dan and Jake, if you were a top 6 pick, you went 5-1. So and Berg had a top 6 pick, he beat me. Hebert had a top 6 pick, he beat Melk. Cole had a top 6 pick, he beat Toy. Shaw and Peter were a wash, and Jake and Dan were a wash, and then Chris had the top 6 pick, and he beat Matt. So nice job, you guys, but you did what you were you're supposed to do.
Except for you, Dan.
I was playing against the top six.
Yeah.
True. All right, let's head on over to power rankings. So we'll go in this order. We don't need to go through each line. Any call-outs you want to make, Dan, then Nick, then I'll follow up.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of insider intel before I made these rankings. I was informed today about some trades that are going on in the league. So you might have seen Ryan from New Jersey tease a trade this morning. That trade is Michael Thomas from Team Bird and at least 5 fab for Kyle Pitts. And the at least 5 fab is depending on how many points Michael Thomas scores. Well, I, reporting live from the pod, am admitting that is a true trade. Michael Thomas is on his way up north, the great Northeast, on Team Matt Nick, and Kyle Pitts is making his way across Ohio as we speak to get to training camp at Team Bird. But that's not it, folks. We have another trade that happened this week. A lot of people have been saying, Dan, your tight end situation stinks.
I thought you were going to keep this short.
TJ Hawkinson, here comes.
Dan, you're terrible. My team was missing one thing and one thing only, and that's the Hawk. And he's coming home.
Damn it.
So what's the trade?
The Hawk is coming home.
For who?
For what?
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
That's all it took?
And 5 fab. Let's go, Jets and Dan and TJ Hawkinson.
And
Damn
you
it.
still put Berg at 5? Was that part of the trade?
Yeah, because he's got AJ or Kyle Pitts now.
Okay. Beautiful.
The Hawk, he's coming home.
I was angling for Kyle Pitts, so it's a little sad to see him go. But I think it's interesting that Matt Nick had to put the caveat that it has to be at least 5 fab because he's getting a player that he doesn't believe will for sure get over 5 fab. I mean, that's a tough caveat for a guy you're trading to from your 3rd round pick. So,
and he holds on to Dalton Schultz, who's going to be throwing to him.
Matt Nick told me that he thinks Dalton Schultz is going to get more action now that Dak is out because
Booper Bush.
because Dalton Schultz is going to be that safety valve.
All right. Love that out of him.
Or the running backs are.
Well, this is what I was going to say earlier. I can't wait for the day that going forward, I want Nick to always have a background of a bed. It just makes it so much better. No matter where Nick moves, he will always have a background of a bed on our podcast. Nick, over to you.
It's a guest room, and you're going to be lucky to sleep on this bed someday if you'd like.
Berg has commandeered mine, so yours is still up. I might take you on that offer.
Berg loves that. Well, I don't have any cool trades to break, unfortunately. So I guess I'll just talk about my actual rankings, which is what this section is. Both me and Dan have you 12th, Peter. I think you have a very big uphill battle to come. It's interesting that the supposed toilet bowl that Dan said was Chris and Matt Nick. Well, both me and Dan have you and Shaw as the current toilet bowl. I think Shaw was scrambling this week and he was texting everyone he could to see if he could bring his team back to life, but nothing yet. So those are my 2 interesting things. I was a little bit lower on myself than both of you. I also have some issues at my wide receiver core.
Love it. All right. If no one believes in your team and you don't, who's going to believe in it? So I believe in my team. I didn't overreact to week 1. My top 6, I took myself out of the top 6, put myself at 7. We'll see what happens. But I didn't overreact. We'll see what if I go 0-2 this week, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Pete, can you go over what part of your teams are better than mine, Nick's, and Berg's?
Yeah, you have Berg dangerously low.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Let's just go over yours versus Berg's. I'm just curious where you think you have the upper hand.
I don't have Berg. Do you want me to pull up Berg's team and walk through it?
I just want to see where you have the upper hand on Berg's team. I think that people would want to know kind of where.
Let's go over
Well,
to
He has Isaiah Pacheco. I don't even need to see
There you go.
teams.
Oh yeah, if you've got Pacheco, then this is a waste of time.
All right. I have him in quarterback.
Who's his quarterback again? I just
Like,
played him. Dak's hurt.
Dak and Stafford.
Nice.
I think McCaffrey and Cook are about the same level right now.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Running back 2. Who knows what happens there? He's got a great matchup this week with Detroit. He's got
No. We don't know what happens here. Who's your running back 2?
Michael Carter and Damian Pierce.
Bro.
Then we have I have him in tight end.
Okay, we're jumping to tight end.
Wait,
Oh,
jumping
and
to tight end. You do have him at tight end, but he moves up in tight end position.
Okay.
He no longer has the hop.
He has me at wide receiver.
All 3 wide receiver spots.
Flex
Two.
as
He's
well.
got a running back in at flex.
Okay.
Who's your flex?
We'll see. It's gonna be a game.
What was that?
Claypool is currently in your flex for everyone listening.
He currently is not.
Oh yeah, he moved his only good wide receiver to his flex so that he wins in flex.
No, I didn't. Cook is in my flex right now because he plays Monday night.
Oh, nice one. You pulled that one over me and Dan.
Oh, you got us, Cook.
All right, we will carry on.
Wait, if Cook is in your flex, then who's in your running back 1?
Carter and Pierce.
Oh, okay. We're starting both this week.
Hell yeah. Fire him up.
Yeah, you're right. I do think your team is better than Berg's.
I appreciate it. All right, we'll go to matchup previews here. We're going to start with doing our picks on the show here. So since we have it up here, we've got Herbert's Heroes versus Harlan's Hogs. Dan, who do you got?
Let me pull up my stats here. So I think AJ Dillon has preferable matchups along with McCaffrey. And I think the addition of Kyle Pitts is going to boom for Team Berg. I do like Pittman. I think he's going to do really well against Jacksonville. I think this is going to be the largest scoring game of the week, but I think Berg edges it
out. Yeah, I definitely underestimated Berg's team a little bit. I still don't think it's super great. I mean, he was the luckiest team on the week. He only scored 90 points, so it's not like he was on some miracle run from last week. So I have Matt this week. I think he's got great matchups up and down his lineup. The Kansas City versus the Chargers is the game of the week. That's going to be, if you have a player in that matchup, start them. They're going to do well. Cup against Atlanta and Pittman against Jacksonville are destined for another 20-point week from each. Saquon looks like rookie year Saquon. So I think it's less about Berg's team this week and more about Matt's team, who I have in my top 3. So I will pick him.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go with Matt here. I like his matchups. And my prediction last week that I would hinge on what Ramondre Stevenson did was completely wrong. Unlike Dan's take on Jalen Waddle, which did come down to a fourth down touchdown. So Dan, impressed.
Did you hear what Tyreek said about his coach after the game, Peter?
No.
In his press conference after with the reporters, Tyreek Hill said, Coach McDaniel has the biggest balls. He needs a wheelbarrow for them.
Oh, baby.
So that's what it took to beat me. Berg was that 4th and 7 call.
Who is Tyreek Skrills?
Oh,
okay. Let's move along to Milk versus Jake. Dan?
Yeah, I've got everything written down. So I think the biggest question mark this week is, does T. Higgins play? Concussions vary. I don't think he's going to, unfortunately. But then we look over to Milk's team, and he's got Zeke, who, let me check my notes, stinks, and Marquise Brown. I just have a big thumbs down next to him. So I think even if T. Higgins doesn't play, I do like Jake to win this game.
Who is the other wide receiver that would play instead of Higgins, Peter? Does it say his?
He's got Julio, Jacoby,
Okay.
Olave,
His-
Thielen. He's got some good. He's got and Boyd.
He has so many running backs, but not a lot of wide receivers. I think that's something that you'll see Jake possibly cash in on all the running
Wait.
back depth that he has. Oh, he has Thielen.
And he has a lot of wide receivers.
I mean, 3, Edmonds is 4, and then I guess he does have a lot,
Yeah.
but he just has a lot of startable running backs. So I could see him turning that into a better wide receiver if Higgins misses more than 1 week.
Yep.
But yeah, I think a lot of players are trending down on Milkman's team, except for Devontae Adams. I think Adams looked awesome. He got 17 targets. That's a guy that I kind of wish I had taken instead of Jones at the turn. But yeah, I think Jake is going to win this pretty easily. He's got Josh Allen. There's nothing that needs to be said. Following my script, you want people in the Kansas City Chargers game, Eckler, Chubb against the Jets. So, and then he found the diamond in the rough with Henderson in the draft, who is looking like the starter. So yeah, I think
Nick,
I got
remind
Jake.
me why he's looking so good?
So they gave him literally all the carries except for 3. 3 of them went to Cam Akers. But
Never heard of him.
yeah, no one's ever heard of him. But
What round was Cam Akers drafted?
I don't know, Pete.
4th.
Oh, fourth. Gotcha.
It was
Cool.
the 3rd. It was the 3rd.
Oh, third? Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for fact checking that, Nick.
Love it. I got Jake in this one as well. So Dan, who did you have?
I had Jake.
Okay. So Jake could move to 2-0. So we're gonna have at least 2 2-0 teams.
That's good.
I think there might, and with
Wait.
Shaw and Chris, at least 3 3-0 teams.
Wait, what? Why 3?
Sorry, 3. Shaw and Chris.
Shaw and Chris will should be 1-0.
Oh shoot,
No.
sorry, he's playing Milk. Sorry, I just penciled him in.
Dude,
Never
does
mind.
everyone just forget that Luke scored the lowest amount of points?
I think so. All right, let's jump over to Shaw versus Chris. 2 maybe former lovers, maybe current lovers. Jury's still out on that. But Dan,
Yeah, so I think Derrick Henry has a tough matchup against Buffalo. And I think Miles Sanders is going to go against it in Minnesota. I think he's got a tough matchup as well. I do like Joey Mixon versus Dallas, and DJ Moore is going to look better than he did week 1. I think he plays well against the Giants. I've got the upset here, and I've got Shaw advancing to 2-0.
Wow, well, you probably made that pick without realizing that King Henry has Curtis Samuel on his bench right now.
Oh my.
Yeah. I don't know why he's on his bench.
Yeah. How could
They're
I-
just it's a bona fide wide receiver 1 right there.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm such a dingus.
Chris has too many good players. But all jokes aside, I am going to take Chris this week. I didn't take him last week, and I paid the price. I think he's got really good matchups. Again, Rodgers owns the city of Chicago. Derrick Henry will hopefully have a bounce back game. I'm a little nervous about the Tennessee team. Playing Houston should be good for the Denver Broncos, and then Juju Smith-Toaster in that Chargers matchup is tasty. So I had Shaw ranked 11th in my power rankings, and I think he comes back down to earth a little bit and goes 1-1.
I've got Chris as well. I like Javonte this week in Houston. He looked really good with the exception of, would he have a fumble or 2? But whenever he had the ball, he was like dump offs and having, and Jerry Jeudy obviously had the big one, had the big play, but I've got Chris as well. I think this will be a close matchup, but I actually think Aaron Rodgers, to your point, is the X factor in this one. And I think he goes nutty this week in a comeback game against the Bears.
Dallas defense did pretty well against Tom Brady. So, I mean, Joe Burrow might struggle again like he did last week. So he was kind of bailed out in the 4th quarter of that game to get some late points.
All right. So that brings us to getting Miggy with it.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Tight end spot is empty. Thought I fixed that. Let me pull up my stats. So I do think the Hawk welcome back game is going to be one of his best of the season. No place like home, and him getting back on Team Miller is something to rejoice about. I think Jonathan Taylor versus Jacksonville is a juicy matchup. Expect for him to go nutty as well. I am afraid of Juicy Jeff versus the Eagles. The Eagles let the Lions go nuts against them, and Shaw's running around like they won the Super Bowl. And then you have AJ Brown versus Minnesota. I think AJ Brown might struggle. The Minnesota pass defense is pretty good. I do think this is going to be a tough battle, but I think that the Hawk and his welcome home game mixed with Jonathan Taylor does push me into a 1-1 situation. Trey Lance also not playing in a monsoon. Can't forget about that.
I think this is the best matchup of the week. Personally, I think Dan's team, had a rough start, but he had a lot of guys do really well. It's tough to come back from a 8-point performance from your quarterback. So I think
really bad performance from my tight end, which is no longer on my team.
True. Yeah, I think your team will be solid. I think JT against Jacksonville looks good, but yeah, I've got Cole number 1 for a reason. I think he's got the best roster up and down. So I will take him 1. The thing I am most curious about from his team is Cordell Patterson, because if he gets him as his running back too, he is set for the season. You can lock Cole into the playoffs, but Cordell Patterson, people don't realize he was being out-touched by Damian Williams before he got hurt in that game. So the script was not to give Patterson 22 rushes. It was Damian Williams and Patterson 50-50. He got hurt, they had to abandon, and he looked really good. So maybe they'll switch it up, but something to monitor moving forward if they'll give him the lead horse guy, or maybe they'll bring in Tyler Algier and they'll split carries that way. So that's the guy I'm kind of interested to watch, but I still think Cole's going to win with all of his star power at wide receiver.
Yeah, I got Cole. I really like his matchups here. I mean, I'm very curious to see the San Francisco and just their entire offense, obviously losing Elijah Mitchell. And what I'm excited to see what Trey Lance does in not a monsoon. Like, is he the guy? Once again, he hasn't played a real football game in years, and you can't even count last week because it was just a monsoon.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I throw out all performances in that Bears and 49ers game.
So Dan, you got yourself?
You bet.
Yep. Cole. All right, Nick, let's jump over to ayahuasca. I hardly know her.
Do you want me to go first since it's me? I am definitely the guy on the podcast that I feel like is highest on Matt Nick's team. I feel like it's gone down a little bit. I think the trade for Thomas and Pitts is pretty fair, actually, but I prefer to have Kyle Pitts over Thomas. So I guess I would lean having him. So I did think he downgraded a little bit, but being to put him in as this wide receiver 2 or flex, and then having Schultz slide in is nice and gives him a minor improvement. But I'm just very interested to see how my wide receivers play this week. I mean, if they show up like they did last week, I'm going to lose. If they bounce back, I think I can win. I'm going to pick myself because why not? Because I got Mike Williams as the only guy in for the Chargers, and the 3-minute clip of Allen Robinson running around free hopefully made its way to Matthew Stafford's phone. But yeah, I'm going to hope I can come out and be 1-1.
Yeah, so I have some interesting thoughts here. I think Alvin Kamara, knowing that he has jail looming, is not playing up to his fullest. But I don't know if anyone saw the news today. DeAndre Swift did not practice due to an injury. I know it's Veterans Wednesday, but keep an eye on that to see if that changes throughout the week. And then I do think this is a make it or break it week as early as it is for Nick. It's going to really define if his wide receivers, Allen Robinson, Dawson Knox, Mike Williams are legit options and could carry him to a potential playoff berth, or is he going to be scrambling much like maybe a Team Peter or Team Shaw for better options?
My my other comment about that is Kamara is also injured. They signed Latavius Murray to their practice squad, which does not usually mean something like Kamara's actually totally fine and he will play. So that's someone else to watch that. I don't know. Things move quickly. Maybe he doesn't even play in this matchup. I would guess he does, but just something to watch.
So Dan, who do you have?
I have Nick.
Okay. I also have Nick, and my one take, I think my take on this is I think Nick's team is going to be the most, I think you're going to be the biggest, my bet is you're the biggest boom bust of the year.
Oh yeah.
Because you have 2 touchdown hawks on your team. You have Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon. Lamar's either going to go for like Lamar could go for 40 on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
He doesn't have AJ Dillon. He has Aaron Jones.
No, I know. I'm saying
right.
And AJ Dillon are both those guys backups. And then Mike Williams has proven to be, but I mean, helping with Keenan Allen out is a really big help. So I think that this is one of the weeks where you boom. I think Aaron Jones goes nutty. Good matchup for Swift. And I like Nick in this as well.
Yeah, that was my whole thing drafting. Last year I couldn't boom to save my life. I feel like I was very level at 90 to 100 and it sucked. So I tried drafting guys that could do that more. Yeah. My fun fact that I didn't even say is Mike Williams averages 17 points a game when Keenan Allen is out. So look for him to have a good game.
And Dawson was nowhere to be found. So I think that changes.
I've got Tunyon as well, who is a fun pickup. He got 5 targets for a game that people didn't even think he was going to play in.
Yeah. Also, Renfro was nowhere to be found, which I think was the biggest surprise of, I think did he have a 0 last week or maybe like
he caught a couple passes in like the 3rd, 4th quarter ish, but
yeah,
but he's got Thomas now.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he tosses in there. All right. Last matchup of the week, myself versus Toy. When do you want to go first?
I'll take it, I guess. I really like Jamar Chase. I think he's going to do well this week against Dallas. Dallas stinks. He's going to put up crazy numbers. Touchdown Lenny is a stud. I do see Toy having issues with Kittle being out. Who knows how long he's out. Not everyone can have a dog like TJ Hawkinson that stays healthy no matter what. And then I think Team Peter, we've made a lot of these jokes already, but I'll make them again. The Jets stink really bad, and Joe Flacco's terrible. And Cleveland's defensive line is insane. Damian Pierce, Peter thinks is like the second coming of Christ. He didn't do anything for Houston and expect him to not do anything again. Darnell Mooney is on Chicago. They stink too. DK Metcalf had probably his highest scoring game this year. He scored 5. He had, and I mean, Dalvin Cook's good. So I think that Toy moves on to 1-1, and Peter's team continues to stink.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. I thought Alex had a really good week. I showed that in my power rankings. I think his team is like hit or miss for me in actuality, though. Like, I think he's got some pretty fun matchups to get his players going with, like Hilaire against the Chargers. That'll be high scoring. Wilson against Houston. I told Pete I was thinking of taking him here. I think it's going to be close. I'm having cold feet about actually taking Pete's team in the upset. It's just the running back situation and wide receiver situation is just it's tough. But man, Kelsey against the Chargers is enticing and calling my name. Who am I gonna take? I think who did I take last week? I took Alex and he burned me against Cole, and I took Shaw and was right. So I am going to take Peter here. Alex, you burned me last week. I can't have you do it again, so I will take Peter to win this.
I'll take myself as well. I like my matchups, I like my squad. Excited to see Mooney not play in a.
Yeah, the Mooney part is interesting for me because I thought the Packers defense was going to be good, but they just let Jefferson run all over the field. So I'm wondering if the same thing will happen for Mooney.
I wish I had this stat, but I will be curious how many passes were thrown in that game.
Another unrelated stat, but I would be very curious the average round that Peter's starting lineup was drafted in.
It's got to be the lowest at this point. And
Yeah,
Average starting round, like in the draft.
average what round they were drafted in.
well, he's probably the only person not starting one of their top 4 picks right now with Akers. I don't know how I mean, who else? Is there
Yeah,
anyone
I guess
else
it
that
doesn't
would
matter too much because I don't think he's really wavering anyone. I mean, Damian Pierce is late. Michael Carter's late. DK was, yeah, fourth,
It-
third round.
I think I think this is the make or break week for Pete. Like, I think these are some of these guys that, like, Pierce, if he looks bad again, okay, that ship has sailed. If Metcalf looks bad again, like, okay, there's not that upside that you might have thought. So I'm a little nervous for him, but there's also chances where guys can break out. Like Michael Carter could take a stranglehold on the running back position. Mooney can look like a top 20 guy again. So it should be
Agreed.
fun to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Lovey Smith on Damian Pierce workload. Quote, we need to get Damian more touches. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, bro, send me that TikTok again saying DK is a top 10 wide receiver as well.
This is the first one I ever found because everyone was like fade DK. So
You saw everyone say fade DK and you picked him?
that was after the draft.
Oh.
That's because all his research.
Oh.
All right, now for something fun. New episode of the pod.
I didn't pick you. Did I pick against you guys in every pick?
Nick, you got Nick.
Oh, we had unanimous on Nick.
Cool.
Oh.
And everything else.
And
You guys give me too much
Nick and
credit.
Jake are unanimous, and then I kind of went against the grain on every other pick.
Yeah, so half and half. So new episode. Thank you, first time sponsor of the pod and only sponsor. Just remember, for $5.50 or more, you can sponsor this podcast. Just remember to hit the like button and subscribe. We started the day at 24 subscribers. We went live today and talked about Curtis Samuel getting picked up, along with. Wait 1 second. I just want to look.
What?
Okay, Jeff Wilson was in his starting lineup. All right. So we went live and we did lose a subscriber, so we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and see. So maybe one of those guys from the bar got a little bit annoyed with us and decided to move on. But let's go to what the people said. So in the who will win matchups here, we have our responses. Let me move this over here.
Oh, Berg was the only one that voted for himself.
Yeah. 88.9% voted Ebert. We have 77.8% voted Chris. We have, wow, this is a different one because we all picked Nick, and 77.8% picked Matt Nick.
I'm gonna be busting some heads whoever voted for Matt Nick.
Toy, 66.7 took Toy. 77.8 took Cole, and 100% took Jake.
Tough. Didn't
And did you vote in the stand?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, so you and Berg were the only two people that picked you.
Probably.
Did Berg pick me? I don't know.
Yeah, Berg picked
Berg
picked his 2 teams.
Yeah, Berg will pick you every single time, bud. He loves you.
All right, the people are 0-0 right now. Dan's our best picker. So we will see how do the people do versus the so-called experts.
I think the one thing that I would like to see is I want to see our records from this year as well. I think merging it from this year into last year, we learned a lot. And just having 37 and 28, I don't think it's a accurate reflection. I'm a new man.
Don't worry, you have it right here, 5-1. I already did it.
Bro, yeah, bro, you go 5-1 one week and you're acting like you should do this for a living. Picking
All right,
home
how many
fantasy
did the
league.
Jets lose to the Browns. So we've got 9. We had 4. This was a free text. 4 people said 13 points just randomly. That's incredible.
I think that's a good betting number.
18, 20, Jets win by 3 somehow. So we don't know who that was because we know Jets won't lose was Dan. So, wow, 13.
Wow. Against Cleveland, I mean, they looked pretty bad.
Who looked bad?
Cleveland. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think 13 should be the consensus. I'll give you a 1 touchdown loss.
Hey, 1 touchdown loss, cover the spread, 1-0, baby. 1-1. All right. Other predictions for this week. First trade happens. Check.
That did happen. Good write-in.
Okay. We're gonna skip the next one. Eagles' final record is 12-5. Hard to predict that this week. I don't know if that's an Eagles fan though, because I can't believe they give themselves losses.
Shaw originally said that 11-6, so 12-5 that's.
So he had them losing to Detroit.
Yeah, either that or he just saw them just put up 40 points against Detroit and thought this was the year.
And will lose his mind after going 0-2 and start firing off ridiculous trades.
See, I feel like it helps me to have lost a game. You know, I can finally see what it feels like to be.
All right, the next one is Nick's wide receivers combined for less than 25 again.
Okay, that's a pretty high bar. Wow. 25. I'm not going to hit that.
I hate that take, actually.
I scored my wide receiver scored like 11 total points this last week.
Yeah.
I'm not going to double it.
And Dan is 0-2, and wow, a lot of people voting for Dan 0-2 and reeling. Dan goes, regardless of what happens, I look forward to our matchup next week. Dan, I got you.
Pete, our matchup next week is going to be fireworks. If we're both 0-2, oh baby, watch for that.
People will tune in for that PD episode.
I agree.
Oh baby.
Monkey
all right,
well, the last place.
That brings us to the end of the pod. I think that's pretty good record time for us. People have asked for a shorter, and we're giving them shorter. We've cut Dan off a few times at this pod. We went live today. That was live broadcast going forward.
That live was hilarious.
We had 2 trades. Chris called in. That was incredible. Quite a day.
Yeah, I guess what are your thoughts on the Hawk going to Team Miller?
You want me to? I mean, I was the guy that needed a tight end, so I was actually, once I realized, Kyle Pitts was on the move, I figured Hawk was available, so I just kind of got beat to the punch. People like to keep me out of the loop, and they kept you in the loop on this one. So
I got a cute little text yesterday. How would you like the Hawk? And I said, oh, baby, would I love that Hawk.
So I'm just curious. So Berg has Evans and Waddle. He's also got Keenan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So and AJ Dillon. And so I'm curious, what is he going to do with Garrett Wilson?
Hey, he's a keeper. He's already thinking ahead, just like you, Pete.
Play for next year.
Hey, Wilson's the best wide receiver to come out of this draft.
A fun fact that probably not as many people know because it's a little of the trade workings. I was also trying to get Kyle Pitts, and I said to Matt Nick, I like Christian Kirk a lot, so I'm willing to trade you a starter. He took that as I wanted to offer Christian Kirk. Meanwhile, I was about to give him any of my wide receivers for Pitts. So hopefully he doesn't regret trading for Thomas over any of those guys. Because
I found out the inner workings of that trade. Matthew Nicholas actually reached out to Berg and proposed the trade.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Thomas put up what, 22 last week?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns though.
Yeah. So buoyed by 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, not a bad pickup. I mean, the other trade that didn't go through that I thought would have been maybe really juicy was Miles Sanders for Gabe Davis.
Right. Yeah. And you just told us that one would have been crazy.
Yeah. And it would have helped both teams.
Yeah, I agree. But I think now that Shell blew his load on Jeff Wilson and Chris went nuts for Curtis Samuel, I think it all but mutes that.
Agreed.
Curtis Samuel's on Chris's bench. He goes for 30. If he's in his starting lineup, he goes for 5.
Yeah, watch Curtis Samuel be dropped by week 6.
We're down to just over 50 fab there.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, 50 fab. You're gonna waste it anyway, Chris. Just blow it now.
Go get. Who could he get tomorrow?
Ooh, maybe who'd he drop for Curtis Samuel? Maybe we could pick that guy back up for 30.
Brian Robinson, his running back, was doing some agility workouts today, so he might be back.
Bro, dodging bullets like it's the Matrix.
He's hitching his wagon to that the Washington Commanders football team.
Good on him.
When you got a horse at quarterback like Carson Wentz, you want to get on that buggy.
Yeah.
True. And it only took Curtis Samuel 8 receptions to go 66 yards. So
Heavily involved.
Yeah.
Well, any other closing thoughts for our viewership?
Let's get Milk on either next week or a following week for that milk challenge, that gallon milk challenge.
Gallon challenge is an hour long, so that might have to be a special.
Oh wow, it's an hour. You get an hour to do it.
You get 1 hour to drink a gallon of whole milk. Yeah.
Oh wow, that does not sound fun. I am.
It is
glad.
awful. I've done it willingly because I thought it'd be easy. It's not, and I threw up a lot.
Gotcha.
I think my prediction for like that Google form, I didn't add any in. My prediction is that he doesn't throw up.
Hot take.
What
That's
is
all
it?
I'm about.
2%, 2%?
It's whole.
It's whole.
Oh, it's whole.
I tried to get off with the skim as well, but it's whole milk.
Oh.
Not half and half.
No.
I like that Shell kept his name that.
Well,
All right.
Most of the names in this league are just mean to me.
episode 3 in the books. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Everybody
Yes,
have
sir.
the last weekend of fantasy.
Hey, let's go get a win, podcast host.
Let's do it, boys.